If you don't have attitude, skills, and plan to protect yourself, your only option is to comply fully and hope for the best. Today's video is brought to us by Firearms Legal Protection. Firearms Legal Protection is a legal defense program for lawful gun owners with a 24/7 emergency hotline and plans designed specifically for self-defenders. They are offering a discount on their plan to Asp fans, so hit the link in the description for that. Hi everyone, this is John with today's active self-protection lesson. I don't know where this one comes from, friends. I've looked far and wide. So if you have any information, put it in a comment and I will add it to the description. What we're going to see here is a man who doesn't really have the ability to resist, but he doesn't comply fully with disastrous results. Bus driver is just doing his thing when what we're going to see here is the guy that's just getting on the bus draws a firearm, and you can see it right there in his left hand. The raw has kind of paused it there a little bit. Now as he paused that, guy pulls it away from him, and now several of his buddies are going to come on as well, and they had one on the bus already. So you're going to see three guys walking down the aisles of this bus who are going to shake everyone down. Now notice that the gunman who has waved that around at everybody is standing right at the entrance and acting as the lookout. Now, as everybody is getting frisked down, notice the bus driver is not looking at the guy. He's just kind of hanging out and just keeping himself very small. Now, it's all well and good, except for this one guy in the back decided he doesn't want to give up his wallet and his watch. And so the one guy pulls the gunman over and is like, hey, I got a problem here. Well, and eventually that's going to get him out there, and he is going to pop that guy. And then the guy is going to give up all of his stuff. When the guy gets as much as he wants, they are finally going to leave. But notice what that leaves this man who wanted to resist is obviously nursing a very serious wound, and that's where this one ends. These are the kind of lessons that I hate to bring, but I do think they are important. If you appreciate the lessons that you get here at Active Self-Protection, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss a lesson. Out of this one, I want to talk about compliance versus resistance and how you got to comply fully when that time comes. Also want to talk about having attitude, skills, and plan in order to resist, and we need to talk about spiritual fitness. Some very significant lessons to think about out of this one. Let's start with this idea of when the attack starts. Notice that the bad guy always gets to start the ambush. He's the one who gets the timing of the attack. As a CCW holder or a self-defender, you are always behind in the initiative deficit because he's the one who gets to decide when the attack starts. And therefore, you got to recognize that you have to wait your turn. And when somebody has their look at you, when they are looking at you and they have a firearm on you, this is not the time to go for a defensive move. So you not just like you cannot draw from the drop, you do not want to act from the drop. And that's exactly what we're going to see this guy do here. He's going to do something that is very common for him to do, which is to reach out and paw at that gun. And that's a very common reaction because what he's doing there is he's just trying to get the barrel away from him so that it's not threatening him. Very common to do, but that's not an effective means of defending yourself. And because it's not an effective means, that could have angered the guy who had the gun, and he could have shot him very easily. So you got to learn to control yourself and not paw at what's going on and just try to get it away from you quickly like that, but do reasoned, measured approaches. Now, thankfully, the guy doesn't get super mad, and our bus driver just puts his hands up. Man, hey, that's fine. Now, I want to note a second thing here is the trailing accomplices. We have a gunman and we have several grab men. So we have at least 4 guys in this problem. So if you're a self-defender, even a defender with a firearm, you got to recognize who your biggest threat is. Well, the biggest threat in the immediate vicinity is the guy with the gun, regardless of anything else that anyone else is doing. Now, the best bet here might be compliance. All these folks are realizing, man, we're completely outgunned. There's nothing we're going to do. We're not getting off this bus. And so compliance is probably the best way, except for this one guy. Friends, you cannot kind of resist halfway. You either got to go with everything you have to get out of the danger zone, or you got to just comply. And because he didn't, he kind of went in the halfway zone. This guy ends up getting shot, and shot right kind of in the juncture there between his neck and his shoulder. You cannot comply halfway. Either comply fully or resist fully. Those are your only 2 options, friends. And sometimes compliance is the right answer. He didn't have any good answers here. He didn't have any good way to defend himself. Give up the wallet and the watch and let the guy have what he wants so you don't get shot. You know, at least you have a chance of not getting shot, because notice the guy gave his stuff up anyways. Now, I want to also talk about first aid skills here. Obviously, this guy's got a gunshot wound. I always carry my first aid kit with me everywhere I go, all the time. and I recommend that you do as well, and have the skills and have the training in order to plug a wound and get someone to the hospital as fast as possible. I don't know if this guy made it either. Another great reminder of spiritual fitness, because you might be in the last day of your life and not even know it. You don't get advance notice on that day. And so you want to make sure that you've said everything you need to say to your loved ones, that they know that you love them and everything is good, and that you and Jesus have a strong relationship, because on that day you're going to need it and may not have time to plan for it. All in all, lots to learn here. Let's think about compliance. Let's think about launching effective counter ambushes. Let's think about whether or not we're ready to meet our maker as we cover our ASP.